My name is Wayne Catalano. I've been in this racing business for about 50 years. Twydil X been great for me. I would recommend it because it works on my horses and it works on bad bleeders. And I've seen the results. I'm a firm believer in stuff that works.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Friday, November the 5th. Well, it's the Grade 1 $2 million Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Let's take a look at this field. Our coverage is presented by Twydil. You can download free formulator past performances for the Juvenile on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. 2-year-old championship honors on the line. Mike, you got the best in the East, Jack Christopher. You got the best in the West, Corniche.
Yeah, the two favorites, the two likely horses to beat in this race, bookend the field. They're both gonna take their share of money. It feels like, Dan. I guess we'll see how it plays out. I suppose you could just say that Jack Christopher got the best of the draw with Corniche hung out wide.
And let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because both of these horses have similar running styles. They like to be close to the pace, and Jack Christopher trying 2 turns for the first time, likely to hug the rail and being sent out of there by Jose Ortiz going into the first turn.
Yeah, I mean, they got to take advantage of the rail draw with this horse and just go forward. That doesn't mean he has to go, straight to the front and go fast if other horses are going, but he's going to get forward in this race and perhaps land in a really good trip in this race. We'll see what Mike Smith decides to do with Corniche. He's going to have to come out of there running, and then we'll just see if he decides to go on with it or tries to get a spot.
The 2 Jasper Great lacks pace data because his one and only lifetime start came in Japan, going 1 1/8 miles. Now, he made the lead very easily in that race. I don't think he has the speed of a Jack Christopher or Corniche, however.
I'd be surprised if he did as well, but he's another one who drew very well in this race.
Let's watch Jack Christopher's win in the Champagne, making it 2 for 2 in his career for Chad Brown. I thought he did a lot of good things in this race, Mike. He broke very sharp, but quickly raided back and listened to Jose Ortiz's commands, got off the inside, chased Gunite through some solid fractions on the outside, puts a sputtering Gunite away, turning into the stretch, and is on his way to hold off Command Performance, we see rallying into second. This was a very professional effort for such a lightly raced 2-year-old.
Yeah, both of his races have been like this. He's very professional. He obviously has the talent to go along with it. He was highly regarded before his first start. He did not disappoint that day. Really impressive win there in that Champagne, Dan. He did everything I think you wanted to see him do. And I also just sort of like, it's a race that initially came back with a relatively low figure, a 93. It was quickly upgraded to a big 102 with the timing issues they've been having at Belmont Park. I mean, I guess in some ways he's the horse to beat, and he did get a really good draw.
You rarely see horses cutting back in distance for the Juvenile. We're going to get that with the 2 Jasper Great. Debut winner at Hanshin, going 1 1/8 miles. Let's watch this race right now. This is a very well-bred horse. He's a son of Arrogate. He's a half-brother to Power Broker, who was a Grade 1 stakes winner at 2. And he just went right to the front in this race and kept on going. He sure didn't look like a 6-to-1 chance. He wins this race very easily, and the 4th-place finisher came back to graduate. Right after this race, only a couple days afterwards, they said, we're going to the Juvenile. So I have a feeling these connections, they knew what they had all along.
Yeah, he obviously looks good winning the race. It was pretty tough for me to evaluate, if only because he just got complete control of this race early on and never really faced a challenge. He did win very impressively. Good to know the information you dug up about who was behind him. I don't know, Dan. It feels like a pretty tough spot to me for this horse. I am happy to follow your lead on these Japanese horses. You tend to have better ideas than I do about how good they are. Am I using this horse or am I not?
I'm not. I'm a big fan. I think this might be a little bit of too much too soon, especially from a pace standpoint as he cuts back in distance. He's facing some very fast horses. Oviatt Class, the 3, is hoping for a fast pace. He is a 1-run closer, and he's a pretty good one, Mike. Winner 2 starts back at Del Mar, going the mile, rallying 3rd last time out in the American Pharoah. He just fell right out the back door in that race.
Yeah, he got way too far away in the American Pharoah last time. Picked up some pieces for a no-threat 3rd in there. I didn't love that performance. I thought he ran okay when he broke his maiden 2 starts back, if only because it seemed like he carried his run for a long way in there, where he finally pulled clear at the end. I liked that performance. Maybe he can build off of it. It would certainly help his case if the 2 favorites hooked up early in here.
The number 4, Papa Cap for trainer Mark Cassidy. Graded stakes winner at Del Mar, albeit sprinting. Winner of the Best Pal in his second lifetime start. Now, he finished second in the American Pharaoh, splitting Corniche and Oviatt class. He kind of was on a wide chase all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, there was really nothing he could do with the trip that he got there, Dan, because Corniche is just a better horse than he is, and this horse could only chase him to no avail. I guess he ran okay to be second. I don't particularly like any of his other 3 races.
The 5 Double Thunder's underrated considering his connections. You've got Todd Pletcher and Flavien Prat. Considering his accomplishments, he's a multiple stakes winner and a graded stakes winner, just coming off a second in this race, the Breeders' Futurity. I guess he's a bit underrated because his figs are light. He's another horse that likes to come from off of the pace. It's interesting that Todd's putting the blinkers on for this one.
That is an interesting equipment change for this horse. We'll see if he can, finally take a step forward, because he clearly has to do it. Did his best in this race, Dan. I thought all in all the trip worked out for him. He followed the winner for a long way, was only second best in there. As you've already pointed out, he's just way too slow to really feel like he's a major player in this race, but perhaps he has the right running style.
Another horse with similar a situation, American Sanctuary, the number 6. Slow on figs, but might get the right setup. This horse was second in the Sapling in his first time going 2 turns, made a big move into that race, ran second. Last time out in the Breeders' Futurity, got into a little bit of trouble. Don't think he was winning with a clean trip, but he will run on at the end.
Yeah, he will. That replay that we just watched there with Double Thunder, this horse elected to stay towards the inside around the turn and in this stretch. Maybe a little bit of traffic. I didn't think he ever got stopped. I didn't think it really cost him anything in there, but he wasn't out in the clear like Double Thunder was. 2 back. I mean, I suppose you could make the argument that he just moved too soon and maybe even ran a better race than Double Thunder did. I guess I wouldn't argue with that too much. He's still too slow to win this race.
Giant Game, the number 7, taking a big step up in class out of the maiden ranks for trainer Dale Romans. Let's watch his second lifetime start, however. His first start around 2 turns. No surprise he improved. As a son of Giant's Causeway, he got a very nice ride from Joe Talamo. You see those fractions on the top right of your screen. They are not fast at all, especially with the short stretch at Keeneland. Giant Game, though, looked pretty good winning. He's got upside. This is a lot to ask.
I agree. I did think he took a step forward here. His debut was okay. He didn't break that great from the gate in his debut and was between horses through the stretch. It was an okay performance. He improved last time, got out of the gate a lot better, kept right up close to a slow pace. I did like the way he finished in that race, Dan. I don't know. I felt like he was pretty tough to take in here, but we are talking about a juvenile here that sort of lacks appealing long shots. Maybe he's an appealing long shot.
Considering that Bob Baffert already has Corniche, and he already has Pinehurst, a grade 1 winner at Del Mar. Kind of interesting that he enters the 8 Barassa off of this victory. Kind of a workmanlike score at Santa Anita going a 2-turn mile. Let's watch Barassa, who got right up close to the pace in this race, hooks the pace setter turning into the lane, and he's got to go all the way down to the wire to take the measure of this horse. He jumped up 15 points on the Beyer scale. I have a feeling of the 3 Baffert horses, this is the one coming from behind.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that either. I'll be honest, Dad, I'm having a real tough time trying to decide what to make of this horse. I didn't think this horse ran well at all in either of his first 2 starts. The figure from this race suggests that he took a big step forward. I'm not really buying it. I wasn't thrilled with that performance either. We'll see. He's going to be a price in here, so I'm not going to knock him too hard, but I don't like this horse.
In some ways, the key to this race is the 9 Pinehurst. Can he go 2 turns? Because he has shown some ability in both starts for Baffert, sprinting at Del Mar, including this facile victory in the grade 1 Del Mar Futurity, going 7/8 of a mile. Let's watch Pinehurst, who got right up close to the pace in this race. And maybe this wasn't the strongest field in the world, but he was able to draw clear very easily. This coming on the heels of an 86 Beyer effort in his career debut, going 5/8. Interesting that Baffert skipped the American Pharaoh with this horse, bringing him in fresh off a 2-month layoff.
Yeah, it's true. It'll be interesting to see what kind of trip he can pull in this race. I guess they're going to try to use his speed. As opposed to Barossa, the other Baffert horse, I actually like this one, Dan. I think he's run really well in both of his starts. I realize he doesn't really have the figures necessarily, but I don't know. I think he's shown some real ability. I don't know about stretching out for this horse. He's a twirling candy who I tend to think don't get better with more distance. And there's a lot of class on the bottom of this pedigree, but it's also a lot of sprint, I think. I don't know. I think he's a good horse, and I do think I would like to use him in here if he's going to be a fair price in this race. I just wonder if this is the right spot.
Like Champagne winner Jack Christopher, Champagne runner-up, the number 10 Command Performance, will be making his third lifetime start and his first race around 2 turns. Unlike Jack Christopher, Command Performance has yet to win a race, but you get the feeling that the 2 turns, especially in a fast-paced scenario, is really going to work out for this horse. He was wide in the early portion of the Champagne, and he came with a good solid run, and he's a maiden, but he fits in this race for sure.
Yeah, I think he does too. I feel like the real problem with him, Dan, is it's just the fact that I don't think all the merits of his that you just laid out are going to be really lost on anybody in here. You know, he's just very clearly the other horse outside of the 2 favorites that people are going to use. And to me, that means he's not going to be much price in here. He is still a maiden, you know, like a couple of other horses in here. He's stretching out around 2 turns for the first time. So I know he's supposed to handle that, but it doesn't mean he's going to. I just felt like, while I do think he can win this race, and I do think he's mildly interesting, I didn't think he was necessarily the kind of horse I'd be willing to take something like 4 or 5 to 1 on.
30 to 1 on the 11, Tough to Tame, runner-up last time out in the Grade 3 Iroquois at Churchill Downs, going 2 turns. He showed some nice tactical speed in that race, Mike, and is likely to be a little bit outrun here, but probably in mid-pack behind a solid pace. The question is he good enough? He was 37 to 1 in the Iroquois, and I'm just not a fan of that race.
I'm not either. And I do think he ran an okay race that day. He also got a really nice trip. He was always, you know, sort of able to sit in behind the leaders there while the winner was wide every step of the way. I mean, he did his best with the trip, but he was still only second best. And even if he repeats that effort, he's probably not getting anything in here.
2 for 2 for the 12, Corniche, just like Jack Christopher out east. Corniche, 98 buyer in his debut at Del Mar sprinting, stretched out, did it around 2 turns in the American Pharoah. Let's watch that race on October the 1st, and Mike Smith hustled him out of there from the inside post. He was able to control the lead. He kept on going. Papa Cap second. You're going to see Oviatt Class run on into third. Corniche was well in control of this race throughout. You see the horse that pushed him early, Rockefeller, fading down towards the inside.
Yeah, and that's not a bad horse either, Rockefeller. I don't know, Dan. I mean, you know, he doesn't bury this field, but he wins it, you know, easily enough as far as I can tell. I know his buyer dropped, but I felt like it was a step in the right direction for this horse. He's obviously very lightly raced. He seems to have a good amount of ability. I personally don't think, you know, we've seen his best race or even close to his best race yet. The post is no bargain. He's going to have to work something out from post 12, but I think this colt's pretty good.
And that's where you're going as we take a look at our top picks for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Corniche, a $1.5 million 2-year-old in training, already a Grade 1 stakes winner. Gonna have to overcome this outside post position, but he's talented. He's handled 2 turns. He's handled Del Mar. Jack Christopher's professionalism, I think, will put him in good stead as he tries 2 turns for the first time, unfortunately, at a lowish price. I think he's going to break out of there running. If Smith is intent on the lead, what we saw from Jack Christopher in the Champagne last time out might actually help him out, raiding off the rail in the lead, getting to the outside, and sitting a similar trip. We'll see how good he is. Mike's going 12, 1, 10, and 9. I'm going 1, 10, 8, and 12. It's the Friday race of the day, the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Our coverage is presented by Twydil.